Yesterday was the UFC 298 press conference, and this is my opinion on the press conference as a whole. So starting off with the main event, you had Alexander Volkanovski coming out dressed as that old man. It's been this gimmick he's been doing for the build up to this matchup with that promotional video he put out. I think it was last week or the week before, where he's dressed up as the old man and he's walking around pretending to limp and shit like that. It actually is funny, and he is playing into that character very well. Then you had Ilia Topuria come out and kind of, a lot of people were saying he's trying hard to be like Conor McGregor, which I do get. There were certain elements that even throughout this whole build up he's been kind of copied off McGregor, but there's no shame in that. McGregor is the biggest star in the sport, so why would you not try and copy some aspects of him? But one thing I want to say about this press conference is I feel like Ilia Topuria has lost quite a lot of hype around himself in this press conference. And what I mean by that is I'm seeing online a lot of people flip their predictions on who they think is going to win this matchup now because of what happened at the press conference. So, like I said, Volkanovski done a great job playing into his character, where he was pretending to sleep when Topuria was talking and stuff like that. And you could see that it was kind of annoying Topuria. What really annoyed Topuria though yesterday, was the fans. The fans, everyone in that arena booed Ilia Topuria anytime the guy spoke. And you seen it was affecting him because he kept telling them to shut up, like over and over again, telling them to shut up. And I honestly thought Topuria would have maybe not have been the fan favourite there, but I thought a lot of people would have been on his side, considering a lot of people are picking him to win this matchup. But everybody in the crowd seemed to be an Alexander Volkanovski fan. When that guy spoke, the place erupted. Great job from Volkanovski. And what Volkanovski also done during this press conference, which I haven't really seen many people talk about, was that now he didn't do this all the time, he let Topuria speak, but when Topuria tried to speak over Volkanovski, Volk spoke louder than him, and it kind of drowned Topuria out, and you could see that was also getting under Topuria's skin, that Volk just was blatantly just ignoring him and speaking over the top of him. And like I said, the fans just constantly ripped into Ilia Topuria, making the guy, like, honestly, every other word that came out of Topuria's mouth was him telling him to shut the fans up. And the big takeaway from what happened between those two guys was when Ilia Topuria lifted the belt, kind of Conor McGregor style, when he done that against Jose Aldo, except the big difference was Volk isn't affected by these mind games Topuria's trying to play in the slightest. Volk doesn't care. You see when Topuria lifted the belt, Volk pretended like he was slow getting up, like playing into that old man gimmick. You've seen it again at other parts of the press conference when Topuria said get up and do something, and Volk like slowly got to his feet. Volk, in my opinion, has done a great job playing into this character, and if anything, I feel like Volkanovski is in Topuria's head more than what Topuria is in Alexander Volkanovski's head. And I have said this, that and my opinion hasn't changed. Alexander Volkanovski is going to show Ilia Topuria the levels on Saturday night. He is just the better mixed martial artist. And let's be honest, what has Ilia Topuria really done to deserve all this hype? His last four opponents were Ryan Hall, who, in my opinion, he's a great submission fighter, but he's very one-dimensional. Then you had Jai Herbert. Now, yes, that was up a weight class. I don't consider Jai Herbert elite, and he hurt Ilia Topuria. Then you've got Bryce Mitchell, which I think is a great win, to be honest. I think Bryce Mitchell is pretty underrated. And then, obviously, he destroyed Josh Emmett for 5 rounds. But Yair Rodriguez submitted Josh Emmett. He actually finished Josh Emmett before he fought Volkanovski, and no one was giving Yair this hype at all. So I don't really see where all this hype for Topuria kind of came from. That's just my opinion anyway. I think Alexander Volkanovski is going to show levels, and he is going to win this matchup by unanimous decision. Then we'll move down on the card. Paulo Costa, the fans seem to be on his side a bit when he was talking about, he's been here before when he fought Romero. I mean, MMA Guru brought this up in his video, and I think he is spot on. When did Paulo Costa's English become so shit? I always remember the guy for having pretty good English, but anyway, he did seem to come across as a bit of a fan favourite. I mean, the fans love Robert Whittaker as well, so I mean, no one was really hated out of the two of them, and I feel like it's going to be a banger of a matchup. I do feel like Robert Whittaker is going to win by decision, but a part of me feels like we could see a Paulo Costa KO. I'm not too sure. Either way, I'm happy enough with whoever wins the co-main event. Then we go down to the matchup before that, which is Merab versus Henry Cejudo. Now, Merab, fair play to the guy. I mean, he is getting himself over. The fans seem to love him, especially when he brought out that Mexican flag. The place erupted. But his English, and I know this is a pretty shitty thing to say, but the guy's English is pretty dog shit if we're being honest. I feel like he'd be way more over, especially with the comedy skits he's doing, if his English was a bit better. But I mean, that's no fault of his own. The guy isn't from any English speaking country. So I think he done a good job getting himself over for this matchup. I do see him beating Henry Cejudo, if I'm being honest, and I don't think Henry Cejudo is in the right headspace for this matchup. However, Henry Cejudo, people are sleeping on Henry Cejudo. Let's not forget, this guy's a former 2 division champion. He's an Olympic gold medalist in wrestling, so he's not a bum when it comes to grappling. And people talk about how he didn't look great grappling against Aljamain Sterling. Aljamain Sterling is now a featherweight, and he was massive for the bantamweight division. So that is just another few factors to take in. I do think he is better than Merab on the feet, but Merab isn't a scrub on the feet either. If you know what I mean, he uses his striking very well to implement what his game plan is. So that is probably, it might be my matchup I'm most looking forward to, if I'm being honest. I am really interested in seeing how this matchup plays out. Then obviously before that you have Jeff Neal, Ian Garry. What has happened to Ian Garry? When Ian Garry actually was loved by the fans, you know, he was walking around with Jeff Neal's mugshot on his t-shirt and shit like that, and basically he begged Jeff Neal to be his friend at the press conference. I'll shake his hand if he wants to shake mine, and he was just begging for Jeff Neal to be his friend, and no one really grilled Ian Garry, which I think that's what everyone was hoping that would have happened. I mean, we missed it with the Colby Covington UFC 296 press conference. I wish they had put him on the Sean Strickland card, but anyway, these things happen. I do think Ian Garry is going to beat Jeff Neal by decision. However, I would like to see Jeff Neal get the KO, but I just don't think it's going to happen. And then you have Anthony Hernandez versus Roman Kopylov. Nothing really happened at the press conference between those two guys. That is a banger of a matchup as well. Overall, the press conference was great in my opinion. The one who really stood out to me was Alexander Volkanovski, and like I said, I do believe Volk is going to defend the belt successfully at UFC 298. But let me know your opinion on the press conference below, and let me know who you are picking to win the matchups at UFC 298. My UFC 298 breakdown and prediction video comes out tomorrow, so stay tuned for that. Social medias, I don't think I'm going to link them in this video, to be honest. They might be in the description or something like that. But as always, like, share, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. And I will see you again in the next one.